When I was just 19, I got two brilliant pieces of advice. The first came from a brave girlfriend. It was very confronting and personal, and I'll get back to her in a sec. The second came from a wise older woman. She understood that people can be created or destroyed by words, and that fidelity is more than just sexual, that faithfulness is also having your partner's back in everything you say about them. And she taught me that my words about my man, what I said behind his back to others, and especially what I said about him in public, could help shape who he became. My man and I, we met unintentionally. I'd been visiting his parents' house and I was limping across the front lawn when his parents came out toward me, and his father said, "Oh, my dear, what happened to you?" And I said, "I got drunk and fell in a hole." Never one to mince my words. They weren't impressed. But somebody was. He'd been under his VW station wagon working when he first heard my voice. He came out quite quickly, wanted to hear who'd spoken to his parents like that. And as he stood up, our eyes met and something happened. His parents, they just saw in me a hippie, a druggie, a slut, a danger to their son. He saw in me a good answer, a courage, integrity, honesty. At the time, all I saw in him was a hot guy, a conquest, a passing fancy, and pass our fancy we did. Quite frequently, sometimes in the back of the station wagon. And in time, as certain things became apparent, he dropped sweetly to his knee and proposed. And I gave him an answer that no man wants to hear. "Oh, fuck off. Don't be ridiculous." See, I wasn't interested in long term. I'd been betrayed by boys again and again. Heartbreak, rejection, incest, two frightening rapes. So I didn't have any trust left. And my heart felt so broken, like the pieces were everywhere. And I was at a stage I didn't even bother trying to clean them up anymore. So marriage, I couldn't even imagine it. And settling down in suburbia was probably the very last thing in the entire world that would have ever occurred to me. I decided I had a dilemma, and so I took it to my aforementioned girlfriend. "That idiot asked me to marry him," I complained. I'd been hoping for sympathy, comfort, something. But she was not one to mince her words either, and this was her advice. "You're the idiot. You're stupid if you don't marry him. You're not going to get another offer like this one. He would look after you every day of your life, and Toni, you've got to face it, you're not much of a catch." Harsh advice, but good advice. So we married amidst everyone's cries of dismay. "She's not coming into this house," said his parents. "He's too good for you," said mine. "We'll give it 6 months," said a wedding guest, and people laid bets on how long this unlikely marriage would last. When we married, we lived in public housing, this exact one. He came home from work each day to my chaos, both inner and outer. I wanted to pick fights. This was insane. What did we think we were doing? He'd just laugh and kiss me till I smile. And it's hard to fight with that. It's hard to argue with grace. He'd notice what little I did do. "You cleaned the toilet. You're amazing." And I overlooked all the rest. And over the years, his words kept coming, piecing me back together. "You're special, you're beautiful, you're clever, you take action, you do what's right, you speak the truth." And still it took a full 15 years before I finally understood that he had married me not because I was pregnant and he had to, or because he was a good man doing the right thing, which is what I'd always thought. But he married me because he wanted to, because he adored me. I know that those around us were worried and afraid because he was a really gentle man and they were scared that I would break him. that my anger would be his undoing, and they had such good reason to be afraid because I did have every single tool I needed to destroy. I had insecurity, I had criticism, I had contempt, I had rage, and I was wrapped in a blanket of selfishness. And I was just the sort of person to have pointed the finger and found fault with him and trashed him to others so that I could, even for a minute, feel a little better about myself. And that's what I think would have happened had it not been for the words of that wise woman that rang in my ears year after year, essentially saving me from ruining my marriage and saving me from destroying this lovely man. And this lovely man, he's not stupid or blind. He knows what I'm like, and there's so much to criticise. Could have had a field day. Yet he has never, ever battered me with his words. He has instead repaired me with them. Jack London said that true love doesn't come from finding the perfect person. It comes when we learn to see an imperfect person perfectly. Now I have a little secret. He isn't perfect either. But you'll never hear that from me. He can in fact be so annoying. For the most part though, what I would tell you about him is this. I married an angel. And you, having heard he's an angel, when you meet him, you can today, will be expecting one. And if you're expecting an angel, if you're looking for one, an angel's probably what you'll find. But our trouble is we're human. We're not looking for angels. Something in us just loves looking for shit. We are gifted at this stuff. We're so good at noticing what people get wrong. What our children, our parents, our partners, our colleagues, our friends, what they don't do. In all the many, 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 many ways that they let us down. We're good at that. And then we're really good at criticising and complaining and blaming and gossiping. And while we're being so incredibly talented at those things, what happens is that we're blind to that little glimpse of white feather, that shot of light that will come in the darkness, or the many, 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 many kindnesses that come our way each day. And we miss out. All of us, we miss out. But we don't have to. If we decide to speak words that repair, to overlook shit, to look for good, especially in each other, then we, all of us, we can unlock incredible change. And I know this is so because I've experienced it. And I also know it's so because in the last few years, the great lesson that I've learned, possibly the great lesson that I've learned in my whole life, is that in the end, in life and in each other, we find what we look for. And then I have a postscript. I don't know if Ted allows them. Last December, we celebrated 35 years of ridiculously happy marriage. So we won the bet! And some years ago, not long before she died, my aforementioned girlfriend Donna had this to say to me. I should never have told you to marry him. I should have married him myself. Thank you.